All right, welcome to the Explainer. So let me ask you something. Ever get that feeling you're not really paying the lowest possible price for things? Well, today we're going to dive into this really cool economic thought experiment. What would a perfect market actually look like?
I want you to imagine a world where there's no such thing as brand loyalty, no backroom deals, no giant hurdles to starting your own business. It's a world where the competition is just so intense, so fierce, that prices get driven down to the absolute rock bottom. That's the whole idea behind a model that economists call perfect competition.
So to really understand this perfect market, we've got to break down its foundational rules first. You can kind of think of it like a game, right? And it's got a really strict set of conditions that every single player has to follow.
Okay, so what is it really? At its core, perfect competition is this economic benchmark. It's a model of a market that is just maxed out on competitiveness. And here's the absolute key. No single company, I don't care how hard they try, can change the price of what they're selling. It's a huge concept, for sure, but it's an ideal. You're not going to find this at your local mall. This whole idea rests on four really strict assumptions. First, you've got tons of buyers and sellers, so many that no single one has any real power. Second, the products are what economists call homogeneous, which is just a fancy way of saying they are all completely identical. Think about a giant farmer's market where every single apple is indistinguishable from the next. Third, you've got free entry and exit. That means anyone can jump in and start selling or pack up and leave instantly, no barriers. And finally, perfect information. Everybody knows everything, all the prices, all the technology, all at once.
Okay, so let's zoom in a bit. What would it actually feel like to run a business in this world? What's a day in the life of one of these companies actually look like?
Well, here's the single biggest rule you'd have to live by. You don't set the price. The market does. You have absolutely zero control. The combined force of all those buyers and sellers, they set one single market price. And you have two choices. You take that price, or you sell nothing. Literally nothing. If you try to charge even a penny more, your customers are gone. Instantly. Off to one of the thousands of other sellers who are selling the exact same thing.
And this is where it gets really interesting when you see it visually. Look at the chart for the whole market. It's a normal demand curve, right? As the price goes down, people want to buy more. Makes sense. But now, look at the demand curve for just one single firm, one farmer. It's a perfectly flat, horizontal line. What does that tell you? It means they can sell as much as they want or as little as they want, but it has to be at that one market price. That flat line, that is what it looks like to be a price taker. So this whole price-taking thing, it ends up creating this incredibly powerful, self-correcting force. Over the long run, the market becomes this relentless disciplinarian. Let's see how.
Okay, here's how the cycle works. Imagine a few of our farmers are doing really well, making some extra profit. Well, because of those rules, free entry and perfect information, everybody else sees it. And what do? They rush in. New farmers set up shop, and suddenly the market is flooded with more product. That extra supply pushes the price down for everyone, and this whole cycle just keeps repeating until every last bit of that extra profit is competed away.
And the result? Well, in the long run, the system itself basically guarantees that no one gets rich. Any hint of extra profit just gets wiped out. Now that sounds pretty tough for the businesses, and believe me, it is. But that relentless squeeze on profits, that is absolutely fantastic news for us, the consumers.
Right, so this brings us to the big so what question. If all these companies are just barely scraping by, what's the point of this whole system? Well, the ultimate payoff, it's not for the companies, it's for society. And that payoff comes in the form of something economists get really excited about: incredible efficiency.
First up, you get something called productive efficiency. This is pretty straightforward. The constant crushing pressure of competition forces every single firm to produce their stuff at the absolute lowest possible cost. There is zero room for waste. Every single thing is made using the bare minimum of resources. Nothing is wasted.
And second, we get allocative efficiency. Now this one's a little different. It means that all of society's resources, the workers, the materials, everything, are being used to make the exact mix of things that people actually want. The market isn't overproducing stuff we don't care about or underproducing things we desperately need. It gets the balance just right.
So an easy way to think about this is productive efficiency is making things right. Doing it in the best, cheapest way possible. And allocative efficiency is making the right things, the stuff we actually want. In a perfect market, you get both. It's the economic dream team.
Okay. Let's hit the pause button for a reality check.
If this whole model is so great with its low prices and maximum efficiency, why don't we see it everywhere? Why isn't your local coffee shop a perfect competitor?
Well, the moment you look at the real world, those super strict assumptions they fall apart. Real products aren't identical, are they? They're differentiated by branding, by quality, by advertising. Your coffee shop has a specific vibe, a unique blend. Starting a business is hardly free. You've got rent, permits, all sorts of costs. And perfect information? No way. But the biggest difference? Real businesses almost always have at least some power to set their own prices. They're price makers, not price takers.
So you might be thinking, if it doesn't really exist, why do we even bother talking about it? And that's a great question. Its value isn't in describing the world as it is, its value is in giving us a yardstick to measure the real world against. And this is really the key takeaway from all this. Economists use the idea of perfect competition as a benchmark. It's the gold standard. By comparing a real-world market, let's say for airlines or internet providers, to this perfect ideal, we can actually start to measure how much things like branding, patents, and a lack of competition are costing all of us. We can literally see the welfare loss. That's the economic term for the higher prices and the inefficiency that we all have to deal with.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory for a textbook. Every single time a real-world market falls short of this perfect ideal, it can mean you're paying higher prices and we're all getting less efficiency out of our economy. So the next time you're out shopping, just think about it for a second. How much is the market power of the companies I'm buying from actually costing me?